Hello there, my beautiful Capricorn signs. It's Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. So today's video is all about you, Capricorn. There's a lot of shifts happening in your energy for sure. I do feel like you're growing, you're maturing, you're really trying to lean into your divine feminine energy. And I do think that's coming and having a lot of positive effects that are going to kind of like show up over longevity. This isn't a quick shift, it's a slow progression and you're doing a lot of healing work. So you're in your subconscious energy. You have the Four of Swords here. This is a card of resting, recuperation, self-reflection as well. This can be, sorry, my chair's making weird noises. This can be a card of like I don't know, just overall contemplation and meditation. There's just a good positive vibe in your subconscious energy because you're kind of like settling down after some pain from the past here, Capricorn. This definitely has to do with love or heartbreak of some sort because there's a lot of there's a lot of I don't know, just a lot of like nostalgia energy. Now, your current vibe is the Ten of Swords. That's like stick a fork in you, you're done. You're done with old patterns, old habits, old people, old like situations. Like you're really over it. And your challenge here is the Wheel of Fortune. This is all divinely timed. This has to do with like karmic soulmates from the past, like, past lives, if you believe in that sort of thing, with which if you're watching a tarot video, you probably do believe in that sort of thing. But the foundation of this is like some sort of maybe twin flame energy or some sort of puppy love from childhood, even like someone you've been in a relationship with for a long time, or just even since your youth. Even if you like maybe were together at once and then you disconnected and you came back, sometimes that can be a twin flame, but sometimes it's also a karmic soulmate. So you have to kind of really do your research and discern there because if there's like gaslighting, lying, manipulation, those sorts of things, chances are it's probably not a twin flame. But there is nostalgia here, and I feel like that's what's kind of keeping you tethered to some sort of um, old person. Now, in your in the past, you might have been like really leaning into your feminine energy, maybe too much so, or you're in a like a codependent state, or it's like you maybe were almost mothering someone as a lover, which kind of sounds strange a little bit, but it's not usually because we are psychologically drawn to people who raised us until we heal our childhood wounds and heal our childhood traumas. And no one is, nobody is perfect. There's no perfect parent, there's no perfect situation, there's no perfect life. It doesn't exist. So, unless you're a securely attached person and you had a proper amount of like love and care, the chances of you having like little to no trauma is like very it's wild. But there are some people out there um, who didn't have stability growing up or had broken homes or inconsistencies or abandonment wounds and those sort of things that you have to heal. Otherwise, you might find yourself overly leaning into maybe a motherly mode, and then when you do that, you kind of lose yourself in mothering either a partner or children, or you maybe just don't take care of yourself because everybody else comes first before you, and that can cause a lot of problems in the long term because it's not coming from a place of love, it's coming from a wound, probably an abandonment wound that's being triggered that you may not even subconsciously realize. But I do feel like you're like settling in and reflecting to try to understand how it is you came to be maybe in a situation that wasn't serving you, or how it is you came to stay in a commitment that wasn't serving you as well. Now, you have the Knight of Cups in your present here. So this could be a new offer of love or a returning offer of love. I'm definitely getting like Taurus energy for some reason for you, Capricorn. But I do feel like this is a soulmate, a soul connection. Now, not every soulmate is like destined to last the test of time. That's not how they work. Usually they're sent into your lives for a lesson and you have to learn the lesson. And then once you get over that hurdle, then you can move forward and move on. Now, in your near future, you have the Four of Pentacles. This can be a card about financially saving. This can also be a card about like setting boundaries or holding back when it comes to something. So maybe you're not going to take this person up on their offer of love and you're like, no, not again. Or like, no, no way, not ever. Because you also have the King of Swords in your energy. Now, this is a great card to have in like in your PowerPoint of your situation, because this is in your control. This is in your wheelhouse to set boundaries, to say no, to say heck no, and tell them to take a hike. So I do feel like for a lot of you, that's what you're doing, because people see you as like capable of having this honest adult conversation. But I do feel like your counterpart, whoever is trying to come back in again, whoever's like this nostalgic energy, is not emotionally ready for that, or intellectually ready for that sort of conversation, the open, honest conversation where, you lay out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. A lot of people will avoid that forever because they cannot mentally accept the truth. And at that point, they're living in a delusion and in a fantasy, and it's their own reality that they create. And that's usually what happens to a lot of narcissistic people, because they have to create these like false senses of self, because they have no self. They have no real foundation for what it is that, or who it is that they are, because they usually have like no morals, no ethics, no anything, and they latch on to the nearest person and they try to mask, or they try to mimic their behaviors. So they might be a narcissist you're dealing with. Usually, if anybody's watching these videos, they're pretty empathic, because not a lot of narcissists do self-help type of things, and that's kind of how I view tarot. It's like a form of divination, but it's so you can help yourself, so you can heal yourself, so you can learn about what's happening and why, and try to understand how to move forward. Now, in your hopes and fears, you have the devil energy. This is just temptation. This is lust. This is fiery passion. This is like urges and desires, and like, eating the donut. Like, you really want to have the sugary sweet treat, and you're just like staring at it all day. You really want it, but you know it's bad for you. But are you going to do it anyways? That's up to you. That's up to you, Capricorn. We all go there sometimes. Now, in the outcome, you have the Five of Cups. This is a card of apathy, regret, remorse, looking at the past and just being sad. Maybe you're like wallowing in it, and you're like, ugh, all this crap happened, all these cups spilled over, but like why? I don't understand. But you don't see right now that there's two cups behind you. You're just not in that position to really be ready to move forward. But spirit is trying to guide you. You're trying to guide yourself, your higher self, to push through the pain and to try to transmute it. And that's kind of what this reflection mode is all about, subconsciously, because there is going to be a lot of major shifts and changes coming from this, because you're moving out of an old mindset, a lower vibration, into a higher vibration, because you're gaining wisdom, you're gaining clarity. As long as you don't give in to the temptations of the past, I do think you'll be pretty solid here, Capricorn. Now, that's what I have for you when it comes to tarot. Hopefully that part helped. If it did, please smash the like button. It helps my channel grow. And I'm going to pull a lot of oracle cards, just added messages from your guides and spirit, just to see what else comes through for you. So if this portion of the message resonates, please also smash the like button, because it helps my channel grow. Now, something about the gibbous moon, it says you're very close to achieving your goal. And I do feel like that's just sort of a mindset shift. Like, you're almost out of this old mindset. It's like you're on the cusp of it, but this is kind of the final test from spirit, sending this person back to you over and over again to see if you're still um, stupid, for lack of a better term. Like, I hate to put it like that, but it is true, because it's like, are you going to be crazy and repeat old patterns and have a different expectation? Because that's literally the definition of crazy, when you do something over and over and over again, and then you expect a different outcome. But I say that without judgment, without whatever, because like, we're all crazy. We're all crazy at some point. We're all stupid at some point. It's inevitable. It's part of the human process. It's just what we do. It's literally humanity, so that way we can learn humility. And maybe that's your lesson in this lifetime, is humility. Because a lot of the times, if we find ourselves in relationships that are traumatic or toxic, we have no problem telling our friends like that their relationship sucks, or we don't like that person that they're with. But then when it's our turn and we're in it and we're in the zone with somebody who we feel like we have a lot of butterflies for, or a lot of connection or chemistry with, sometimes we, are wearing those rose-colored glasses and we can't see clearly. The red flags look like, rainbows. And, so, don't be too hard on yourself, because that happens to the best of us. Now, for the archetype, you have the mother card. So maybe you've been somebody's mother. I'm thinking of that song. What is it like? It's like Paris Paloma, like Nurse Mother Maid, Nymph, Nymph and a Virgin. You have to look that song up, but I think that's relevant here. It's basically has to do with like the traditional housewife and being over taken advantage of. Now, something about your mother wounding might be significant, something about a pearl or a pearl of wisdom that you're gaining here from the situation. Maybe you stayed in a situation because you were complacent for a long time. And then, sometimes we have these epiphanous moments where we're like, why am I doing this? What, like, I can't believe that person did this, like, after so long. And then that's what triggers us to um, leave or move out or do something different and change. So complacency might be at the core of whatever is happening here, or at the core of this like devil energy. Like, do I stay? Do I go? Am I going to have regrets if I leave? Again, it's about the lessons that you're learning here and seeing someone for who they are, not who you want them to be. Now, complacency is also tied to the root chakra, which is symbolized by the red on the outside of this card. That's all about your stability, your foundation. It's the base chakra, so it's a very vital chakra. So make sure you're going out and grounding your feet in the earth, walking barefoot, those sorts of things are very important at this time. Um, did I already say you're very close to achieving your goal? I think I did. That was your mindset. And don't forget, you add value to the world. Sometimes when we get in this mother mode where we've been mothering forever, or, even if we don't have children and we're like mothering a spouse without even realizing it, um, it can make us feel like we don't have value when those things shift, when those things leave our lives. But you do. The next card I have for you is from my Power of Love deck. It's called Unity. It says, you understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. And maybe you're just shifting your perspective on love and what that means to you. And, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, because if you don't love yourself, then you really cannot love anyone else properly. Now, the third eye card I have is Act. It says, get your priorities straight, what really counts in your life right now, and take time to consider how you can use your intuition to guide you toward what is really important. And lastly, you have the Wolf card. The Wolf is emphasize a deep connection with your intuition and your instincts. So your heart knows before your head knows. This is scientifically proven by studies done by uh, the Heart Institute. I can't think of the name of it offhand right now, but there's been studies done where it basically shows your heart is the first to know before your brain even knows. And it's like almost like a premonition type of thing where you can like in or know something before it even happens. And that's, tied to this wolf connection, but it's also tied to just being tapped into your own inner guidance and yourself. Oh, I forgot the I Ching. There's also an I Ching card, number 34. It says, with great vigor, you stand upright and robust, full of resilient energy. Inspired and animated by strong purpose, you are ready to wield your strength like a hero. To yield results, you will need to act with steadiness and consistency, standing in your strength, but without mistaking it for omnipotence. How will you use your power and where will you stand? So constancy bears fruit. So it's like when you learn these lessons, when you get over these humps, it's going to be very easy for you to see, Capricorn, like how others fall into these toxic patterns, these toxic loops, these karmic cycles. And it's going to be, it's almost going to put you on this peak where you're kind of out there up alone because you're like, look at this view. It's great. It's fantastic. I can see everything so clearly. But not everybody is going to be able to meet you at that level because they may not be able to meet themselves at that level. So people can only meet each other at the level for which they've met themselves. And it's not personal. It's just everybody's on their own timeline, on their own spiritual journey. And, basically that card is saying, like, don't get too egoic about how mature you are now because everyone's still constantly learning. And it's kind of like you got to think of everybody else like a child because if they haven't healed their traumas, they're basically a child stuck in that inner wounding of a child and have that emotional mentality or sometimes even um, react immaturely because they haven't healed the child that's been wounded and they're kind of stuck at that age point. So a little bit of fun psychology for you, Capricorn. But yeah, that's what I have for you. Hopefully this video helped. If it did, smash that like button. It helps my channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a personalized tarot reading or a trauma healing coaching session, I can do that. You can book on my website or just send me an email and we can get that scheduled. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.